what is up guys? Technical Stinkers here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for today. If you're new to the channel or uninitiated, I do these vlog style videos, just kind of talking about what I got going on in the 3D print space, a little more intimate look. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, be sure to subscribe to the channel. What have I got going on today? Well, I mentioned several times, it's the busy time of year for me sort of outside 3D printing, but still doing stuff piecemeal, so videos are a little more sparse. But a few notable notes that we are into here. You may notice my two Cobras on the bottom, poof, gone. Well, not gone, I got them in storage. Have my Flashforge 85M Pro down here. I love this Flashforge, and it was kind of like a redheaded stepchild for a while because, you know, it's not a big name, and at least when I got into 3D printing, but every time I use it, it performs great. So I put it in here. I wanted to kind of start using it more, and it's odd because I sing the praises of the Flashforge so often. The two prints that I had since going in here, filament ran out, filament run out sensor didn't catch it, just kind of printed off into nothing. So not sure what it is there. That's probably a curse of singing praises. You shouldn't do that kind of thing. We just finished up here on the A1. I'm gonna show what that's about, kind of to round out the interesting printers here. The Orange Storm Giga, performing great, got a really interesting print off of there, and you may notice I have this Infinity Flow S1 up here. So I got that connected. I'm doing a separate whole video on it. But the D13, the Dummy 13 dog, I wanted to print all the body panels in one go. So you see I got the pink loaded up. I connected it, started running it. There's a few things I reached out to Infinity Flow on it to address because I've not seen anyone else run this on an Orange Storm Giga. Most people are running it on smaller printers, which is, you know, most people have those. But I wanted it for the Orange Storm Giga so I could do these massive prints without having to worry about running out of filament. The only problem is that this, you have to put the tube, the Bowden tube, all the way down to the print head, and this is like 3 feet of space. And so as you can probably surmise, as the gantry rises, all this extra slack of this tube is going to potentially get caught up in the drag chains, the gantry, as the print head moves around. And so I was trying to account for that. I put in some, where is it? I've got one of those. Yeah, one of these. When you're shooting a video, you can't just say like, you know, this thing, yeah. It's one of these, you know, like the janitor has for your keys, or it's for a name badge. You know, if you work an actual corporate job, which I've never had one of those actual grown-up jobs, you put your badge on it, your lanyard, and it's like a retractable thing. So my thinking is if I can attach, here, come down here. If I can attach this Bowden tube to this lanyard and then attach this, it will slowly, kind of constantly keep tension on it to pull the Bowden tube up as the gantry rises. The only real problem with that is that it is quite a lot of tension, and I'd have to like kind of hard affix it to the Bowden tube because it's just going to slide through this. And if I'm doing that, then there's a potential for it pulling the Bowden tube out of the print head and also jamming it up near the top. You know, so I'd have to keep an eye on things either way for really huge prints, and which, you know, they take so long, it's gonna be happenstance that I come in here and, you know, be able to fix things. Additionally, the long Bowden tube, I think, is giving, it's a lot of friction. So when I was initially loading it, the Infinity Flow was kind of pushing it down, but it was slowing down quite a bit as it approached the print head. And so I think that has to do with friction. I reached out to them. We're going to work that out, and I'll do a separate video on it, but very, very happy to have that. What's this we got here on the A1? Well, you can kind of see it looks like an Ultimate Pen Cup. If you're a big super fan of the channel, you know I got this Ultimate Pen Cup thing going on. And this one's kind of a modified version. So could this be the new Ultimate Desk Hub? Well, you are correct, dear viewer. You might recall that I was having a lot of bed adhesion issues with these particular models because they are so thick, but luckily Vision Miner came correct with this nanopolymer adhesive. Got a ton of suggestions for this when I was remarking on how bad the bed adhesion issues were on the various printers. A lot of people kept mentioning this, so I reached out to them. They were very kind and sent some over. So I slathered up the A1, did a service on the A1, lubed up the rails, blew it all out, kind of a basic sort of thing. Changed out the nozzle or the hot end assembly or whatever, you know, Bamboo calls their version of swapping that. Got that on here, not a wink of bed adhesion issue. So let's go take a look at this and see what's going on. And for any of those curious, the hornet nests, which I talk about constantly because it's the one thing I actually sell and I actually, you know, like kind of do well with. I've sold no less than 20 something more of these since the last episode. It's just going gangbusters. If you recall last time, I stopped selling them. They stopped selling, and I looked, and it turns out I ran out of inventory, and I turned it back on. And since then, at least another 20 of these going out the door. So I was finally able to catch up on orders, get them all shipped out. I've got a few here for backstock, but yeah, these do very well. Now, I don't expect them to do well for the rest of the year because wasps are building their nests right now. But the people who have come back, there's one individual person who, thank you very much for your business, has come back and ordered probably 10 of these and says they work great for her and they work great for me. So these doing very well. The other thing too, last video I was remarking about this irrigation system that I'm installing, and that's kind of a separate non-3D print thing, but it sort of spurred me to talk about how I wanted to 3D print a model of my property for all these projects that I'm always doing around the house. And so I've been working on that quite a lot, and I hope to do that in sort of also a separate video. But downloading topographic data, GIS data, map data, and just kind of doing a lot of things by hand. But I was able to make a topographic, and now you can't really see it, like, well, it's just a triangle. Yeah, but there is topography there. If you see there, this is actually the first version. Now this is non-exaggerated, and it is to scale. So I went through and used the topographic data and traced all the lines with some, license, I guess, to kind of smooth things out. And this is kind of like the lines that my property follow. Then I went through and filleted down some of the stuff to give it kind of a smoother finish. And then on the Arstorm Giga, I made a big old version. And so last time I was talking about how I'm a Zennial or whatever, so I played RTS games, Stronghold and Age of Empires and things like that. I still play Ultima Online. Those top-down looking sort of views, builders, SimCity type things, have like an appeal to me. I love, models like that. So I've always wanted one of my house so I can kind of plot things out. And so took the drone up, started doing photogrammetry scans, LiDAR scans, and then ultimately this is the one that I hand designed. And then I hope to use photogrammetry to scan my home, the structures, other things like that, and incorporate that, print them in different colors, obviously, and incorporate that in the model. I use green here for grass, and if only my grass was this green. I don't know that you want grass this green. I think maybe you got a nitrogen problem if you got grass this green. But what I did was I took it and then I cut out a space, the footprint of my home, my shop, and my driveway. That way I could print the driveway in gray, print the house, as it is, print the building here, print the pool with the little blue water and stuff like that, and then print just a line for the fence. And that way I can have a little model of my house. And this is nice and big, and hopefully I can refine this over time, get a little bit better, smooth things out, and as I make additions, change it all around, and just keep printing it. It's burning more filament, but I think this is just the coolest damn thing. I mean, of the cool things that I've printed, if this comes to fruition as I see it in my head, this will undoubtedly be the coolest thing I've ever printed. Just because I love screwing around at home, destroying things and rebuilding things just over and over again. A Sisyphean task, if you will, but one that is rife with fulfillment. So I'm gonna be continuing to work on this and doing a dedicated video on it. But I'd love to know what you, dear viewer of the vlog, think about this kind of task, and if you've seen examples of this, because this is super cool to me. All right, so what about my ultimate desk hub? Oh, Matt, you spent so much time, so many episodes on your dear, sweet ultimate desk hub. But this, sorry, dear friends, is not long for this world. The ultimate desk hub left a lot to be desired. It's long, it's too tall. It was awkward, and when the MagSafe thing failed or proved that it wasn't going to work out, I was like, what am I doing here? Additionally, the fan, the controller that was in here, it was just, I couldn't really articulate it too much, and it just took up too much room, and I'm all about eliminating clutter. So let me show you what I did. And I had to get a 5090 because I want to run more than 2 slicers at the same time and a video editor. So, I mean, obviously you have to get that, otherwise you can't do it. So I had big, gaudy ultimate desk hub here. It sat right here underneath my monitor, and it worked out okay, but it was just too big. It took up too much of a footprint. I wanted to kind of minimize and simplify a little bit. So I instead opted for this. I'll put some Tinkercad up here of the design. So basically it's just the ultimate pen cup with a little tray off to the side. And that tray off to the side is simply a spot for stuff like, you know, hook up my microphone here and the little USB hub that I have here. A little portal for the wires, chargers. The ultimate pen cup, obviously, just kind of incorporated into the design with the USBs, and I put some slots up here for micro SDs. It's everything I need in one spot, except, where's the fan? Oh, hope I don't have incriminating tabs open. So the fan is up here. All I did here was got some of these 3/4 inch for structural steel, you know, they sell these at Lowe's, they're a couple bucks, and just tightened it down on here and attached the fan, and then what about the cord and the control? Because that's kind of like, you know, everything was hinging on that. So what I did was I quite simply got a lamp cord and soldered it together. And so now I have like a 20-foot long lamp cord that comes down, comes all the way through here. I opened up the controller, resoldered the board on here so both wires come out the back. And now I have my little control unit, but right now it's just kind of hanging here dangerously over here. So it necessitated yet another refresh of the, I want to call it ultimate desk hub. It's not really ultimate anymore. I guess it is ultimate. I'm going to call it ultimate. But what I did was I took it and modified it to just have a spot here for the hole. And it's a little wide. It's 252 millimeters wide. So it just barely fits onto a bamboo plate. And that's what we had going on the A1. Had to use the Sunlu PLA, not the Elegoo Rapid PLA Plus. The one I printed there was with the bamboo matte black PLA. Oh my gosh, I love that matte black. I'm gonna show you why I love bamboo matte black PLA. We gotta go all the way back in the garage. Yoink. I love matte black PLA because every time I go to remove supports, it came off like this. Like there's supports underneath here. I mean, this is just like, and it fell out just like this. Every time I use matte black PLA, the support removal is just a dream. And I'm not exactly sure, maybe you could let me know in the comments, what the properties are of matte PLA versus standard or high speed. You know, what do you give up to get matte PLA? You know, is it the flexibility? Is this just more rigid? It doesn't have, you know, the give or forgiveness. Whatever that is, you know, if I don't need that, I'm gonna use matte PLA from here on out because the support removal, it just pops right off. This is Sunlu's standard PLA, and I jacked the top Z distance up on a 0.2 layer height. I jacked it up to like a 0.25, so very, kind of a big distance, but you know, it's underneath here. It's not like I need a good surface finish, and this is mythical, beautiful pull. One pull. That's why I love doing this live, because you get my genuine reaction. Oh, it's like Christmas morning. Look at that. Beautiful, smooth. Right in the ocean. Came out pretty good. Sunlu PLA working out pretty good. I think Sunlu sponsor me. Some filament company sponsor me so I can shill for you. I'll find a way to shill for you. Just sponsor me. 100 kilos a month. That's not a lot. Anyway, ultimate or sub-ultimate pen cup version 19.0.12 patch 4. Hopefully I can roll with this one. Surface finish came out pretty good. There's nothing special about this. 0.2 layer height. Got a little, right there where it started on the solid portion, a little, what do you call that? Benchy hole line, heavily right there. I'm not too worried about it. Bed adhesion was great. Supports came off beautifully. Surface finish looks fine. I could probably lower the layer height if I wanted something a little bit finer. But otherwise, now I got a spot for my fan controller. So I can take this, now I can feed my wires up through the hole in my desk into the bottom of this, and it should have enough room to do it, maybe? Yes. It'll take a little encouragement, but now I'll have my ultimate desk hub here, and I can just click, turn my fan on, click, turn my fan off, and it's all kind of hidden within one little spot. Again, it seems like overkill to a lot of people, I get it. But a lot of people, you live like slobs. Not me, I'm a minimalist, or I'm not a minimalist, but I'd kind of, you know, they say that there's a lot of people that wear the same outfit every day. I'm one of those people. I wear a black shirt and khaki pants every damn day. The only time I put on something different is my technicals uniform, it's just one less thing to think about. And so that's why I like having like simple stuff like this. If I know everything's here, I don't have to worry where anything else is. And I know it's like a neuroses or something like that. It's not, you know, some kind of, maybe it is OCD, I don't know. But I'm just gonna call this cabbage. I think that's the last stop on the Ultimate Desk Hub, and I kind of like having the fan up top there because, you know, come in from the outside, I'm all sweating, you know, the heat is all concentrated in this general area. I think it's nice to have that fan like, oh, there, except for, you know, coming up from underneath. So super cool there. Very glad to have some finality on that. Very excited about the property topographic house model Age of Empires. Maybe I'll print my neighbor going, whoa, and then I suddenly turn whatever shirt color he's wearing. So that's what I'm working on today. I'd love to know what you think about all these things in the comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see, or what do you think is the most interesting thing that I'm currently working on in the comments below. Be sure to like the video because it's the nice thing to do. And of course, subscribe for more content like this. I'm the Technicals. See you next time.